Welcome to Leadership and Inner Clarity, Navigating Pressure, Presence and Performance, our podcast series where we explore the mental, emotional and psychological dynamics behind modern leadership and how to reconnect with yourself while leading effectively. I'm Falco Wiskirchen, leadership coach and naturopath for psychotherapy with over 12 years of experience supporting leaders in their professional and personal challenges. Today's topic is leadership under constant pressure, why high responsibility creates chronic stress. When you are in a leadership position, pressure doesn't usually arrive loudly. It doesn't knock on the door and announce itself. It settles in quietly. It shows up in the background of your day, in the decisions you make before your first coffee, in the emails you answer late at night, in the feeling that you're never really off, even when you're at home. If you're listening to this, chances are you know exactly what I mean. Because being a leader doesn't just mean having influence or responsibility on paper. It means carrying complexity. It means holding uncertainty. It means making decisions that affect other people's life, often without having all the information and often without space to pause. And over time, that kind of responsibility doesn't just stay in your head. It moves into your body, into your nervous system, into the way you breathe, sleep, react, and relate. Today I want to talk about why chronic stress is so common in leadership roles, and why willpower, discipline, and just pushing through are not enough to deal with it. Not because leaders are weak, but because the human nervous system has limits. Let's slow this down for a moment. Many executives I work with don't describe themselves as stressed, at least not at first. They describe themselves as busy, as under pressure, responsible, or in demand. Stress in their mind is something that happens to other people. But when we look a little closer, we often find a constant inner tension, a body that never fully relaxes. A mind that keeps scanning for problems, even in moments that are supposed to be calm. And this is where an important misunderstanding begins. Leadership stress is often treated as a mindset problem, as something that we can fix with better time management, stronger discipline, or a more positive attitude. But chronic stress in leadership is rarely just psychological. It is physiological. Every decision you make carries a micro load. Every unresolved conflict stays active somewhere in your system. Every expectation from shareholders, employees, clients, partners, or family adds another layer of alertness. The nervous system doesn't differentiate between important emails and real danger. It simply registers demand. And when demand becomes constant, the system adapts, not by relaxing, but by staying activated. For a while, this can feel like strength. You're focused, sharp, productive, but underneath, something else is happening. Your system is learning that rest is unsafe, that slowing down means falling behind, that availability equals survival. And this is how chronic stress becomes a baseline, not an exception. One of the most underestimated stresses in leadership is decision-making. From the outside, decisions look cognitive, rational, strategic. But internally, every decision activates emotional and physiological processes. Am I making the right call? What if this goes wrong? Who will be affected? What will this mean for my role, my reputation, my future? Even when these questions are conscious, the nervous system still processes them. Now imagine making dozens, sometimes hundreds of these decisions every week, without recovery, without integration, without emotional discharge. This is why many leaders tell me, I don't feel stressed, but I feel tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. That's not exhaustion of muscles, it's exhaustion of regulation. Another layer we need to talk about is emotional load. Leadership often requires emotional containment. You stay composed, you don't show uncertainty, you hold others together. And while emotional regulation is a crucial leadership skill, emotional suppression is something very different. When emotions like frustration, doubt, anger, or fear have no space to move, they don't disappear. They stay active beneath the surface, and the nervous system has to work constantly to keep them contained. Over time, this creates inner pressure. You might notice it is irritability, impatience, a shorter fuse than you used to have, or as emotional distance, from colleagues, from your partner, from yourself. Many leaders describe a sense of functioning without really feeling, as if life becomes a sequence of tasks rather than lived moments. This isn't a personality change, it's a stress response. And one of the earliest warning signs of chronic overload is not panic, it's narrowing. Your emotional range narrows, your tolerance narrows, your capacity for nuance, for creativity and connection narrows. Leadership becomes more reactive, more control-driven, less relational, not because you don't care, but because your system is protecting itself. Let's pause here for a moment. As you are listening, notice what happens in your body when you hear this. No need to analyze it, just notice. Perhaps there's recognition, perhaps resistance, perhaps relief. That moment of noticing is already regulation. Another critical aspect of leadership stress is that it often goes unmirrored. When you are responsible for others, there's little space to express vulnerability without feeling exposed. So stress becomes private, silent, contained, and isolation amplifies it. Stress that is shared can be metabolized. Stress that is carried alone accumulates. This is why high-functioning leaders can appear calm on the outside, while their system is constantly on the edge. And why burnout, anxiety, or physical symptoms sometimes seem to come out of nowhere. They don't. They come out of years of adaptation. From a therapeutic perspective, chronic leadership stress often reflects a nervous system that has been in survival mode for too long. Not dramatic survival, but subtle, continuous activation. Fight shows up as control, irritability, overfunctioning. Flight shows up as restlessness, overwork, inability to slow down. And freeze shows up as emotional numbness, detachment, loss of motivation. These aren't failures, these are strategies, but strategies that were never meant to be permanent. One of the most important shifts I support leaders in making is moving from stress management to stress understanding. Not asking how do I get rid of stress, but asking what is my system responding to and why. Because when stress is treated only on the surface, it keeps returning. When it's understood at the level of the nervous system, something deeper can change. This doesn't mean quitting leadership. It doesn't mean lowering standards. It doesn't mean becoming less effective. It means leading from a regulated system instead of a constantly activated one. And that changes everything. Your present changes, your decisions change, your relationships change. Even your sense of time changes. And before we close, I want to speak directly to something many leaders carry silently: the belief that they should be able to handle this on their own, that needing support means weakness, or failure, or loss of the authority. From a psychological and physiological perspective, that belief itself is a stressor. Regulation is not a solo act, neither is leadership. Support doesn't make you dependent, it makes you sustainable. If, as you listen to this episode, you recognize yourself in these patterns, the constant pressure, the inner tension, the quiet exhaustion, I want you to know that this is workable, not by pushing harder, but by understanding what your system needs. If you'd like personal support in exploring this, you're welcome to book a free initial consultation via my website. This is a confidential, non-committal conversation where we look at your situation together and clarify what kind of support would actually serve you, whether that's leadership coaching, therapeutic work, or a combination of both. You don't need to have everything figured out to start that conversation. You just need to be willing to pause. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. And you can find more valuable insights in my other podcasts. Feel free to check them out. Please remember, be good to yourself and take care. You are important. See you soon, and of course, I would be delighted if you like to support my work by subscribing, liking and sharing so that my podcasts reach all the people I would like to help. Thank you.